Michael Obri J, executive member and spokesperson, Exim Frozen Foods Association, Ghana. Bernard Nature, PR, is a member of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders PR team. They are my guests. We're talking about that call for outright ban on importation of chicken, foreign juices, and other agri-products from Professor Michael Quay, who was delivering a lecture, one of the lectures organized by the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana, Legon, of course, by way of their marking their 60th anniversary. And so what it means is that we have established that it is impossible even to talk about that if you have not laid the foundation. But let's talk about then the experience with these business people. Of course, Bernard is into the issues of container. So when Michael goes to engage with businesses outside to bring the chicken, the value chain where Bernard plays, what role he plays in the value chain is that he's the one that clears the container and all that. I hope exactly. Your names are too heavy. So I want to make it. I'm not sounding simplistic though. don't do that to me. Anyway, so I mean, let's walk through our experiences once more. So I'm talking about balance. You say it is going to be difficult to strike that balance.
I'm not saying it's going to be entirely difficult to strike that balance. I'm saying that if you provide tax incentives for the local producers, and like I said, most of our people are also doing local production. So if the conditions are right to produce locally, whereas we will not be able to totally ban or stop importation, because like I explained offset to you, that there are countries like in Africa, like South Africa, they are the largest importers, and they're also they're one of the largest exporters.
Of what?
Of chicken.
They are the largest importers,
yes,
and largest exporters.
So sometimes what you produce, so that would have brought me to choices. That would have brought me to choices because the consumer has preferences. You need to look at the kind that is coming in, maybe the sizes and all of that, and it would determine whether your local market wants everything that you're producing, because there are some markets that don't have at all, and they would be willing to take what you are producing, whether it's maybe even if it's not as big as in terms of the sizes, it's not as big as what you are importing. They would want to take that from you. There are other countries that would want to take that. So like I said, it would be totally, for me, I think that where we've gotten to as the world, it would be totally impossible to say that let's stop the importation of frozen chicken. I think that we can do things like provide tax incentives for our local producers, make sure that perhaps government through their 1D, 1F is setting up some production centers like factories.
But he just told you that somebody was coming into the country.
That's what I'm saying. That government. So I'm saying that government
cannot do it.
So if they can't do it, or then they should know that this is not the time to be making such calls.
All right.
you get where the point is going. So like I'm saying, we can strike that balance if we're able to shore up local production. Because if local production goes up, the demand it's really a demand and supply thing. If the demand is 400,000 metric tons and you have 500,000 metric tons in the system, it would be a surplus. So most often than not, the Ministry of Agri, before giving you a license to be able to import or giving you a quota to be able to import, they would want to make sure that you're not coming to suffocate the local industry. And so if our local industry shores up, then we would not have to depend so much on the export. The export numbers would come down. And if it comes down, it helps our people too, because our people are local producers too.
I see. How do you then answer questions on choices? I mean, you can also tie that in with balance. But choices, I see we are so much in love with foreign goods. And maybe, just maybe, that's where he's coming from. Maybe he didn't put it right. But the love for foreign goods, to the extent that toothpick and some of these things, maybe that's where he's coming from. What do you say? Because you stay there, you bring the containers in, and people, slippers. I mean, is it not worrying?
Okay, so I think Prof was talking about industrialization.
Yes.
That for any country to develop, we need to industrialize, because we see what goes around. I mean, recently I was seeing something on social media, and I saw a whole heap of yam. And then the person was saying it's 100 cities, but you come to town and you see them holding in their arm like this, and that is 100 cedis.
Oh, really? That's how much you sell it?
Oh, yes. I mean,
about
three or
tubers
four.
or 4 tubers.
The ones I see them around the psychiatric hospital.
Yes, or sometimes 50 cedis, 100 cedis, depends on the size of it.
But they are holding it. It's a lot of work. You don't know.
So it means that because of let's say the transportation or the other factors that it comes to bear, because sometimes you see tomatoes, when at the time that we have the bumper harvest, you see so much on the market, you see it rotted within a matter of 3 months or 6 months, everything is gone, and we have to now go to import. Now we are even importing tomatoes from Burkina, Mali, and I think about it and it's so saddening. So it is a good clear call that if we have to industrialize, then we should look within. Okay, but the thing is that you have to look at the time factor that you are calling for such, because I know, look at the toll booth, for instance. When we at the time that having the tolling system, you get there and you have huge vehicles that are lined up to go through. But I know in a country like Dubai, when they started to industrialize and started to do well, to automate, they started from where the industrialized countries have reached. So what they're doing, that they're doing an e-tolling system. So when you are driving on the highway, you see a banner that approaching a toll booth, but you get there, there's no toll booth. Just that when you get there, the system has a way of deducting from it. Yes. Okay, the system has a way of deducting, and so you don't have to go and join a queue and have to go through the toll. I think that they are saying that they are trying to bring the toll booth system. They have to look at more of the E, so that when we reach there, we can just drive through. Okay, so then we come to the issue of the choices, like you're saying. Okay, I know that we have a huge taste for foreign products, but it means that if we have to look at this, we have to start from the scratch. We know China, closed themselves in, and then make sure that people consume what they produce before they open up. And when they open up, yes, now they've industrialized, they are getting all the monies, because
and that call for industrialization must not be placed at your doorstep.
Yes,
they have to fix it as government.
Yes,
the policies.
Yes,
and then draw you in.
Yes, and draw in. You understand? So it is not like you're saying. It's not something that can be started. All of a sudden you say that. This is it. We are going to, as if we are in a dictatorial or in a military regime. That says that this is what you're going, because we see what is happening in other countries where the military has taken over. And AU has gone into put in all those kind of sanctions, and eventually who suffers? Is the ordinary person that suffers, because they are controlling the affairs. They will enjoy anyhow. So if you say that you're placing a ban, okay, one, you're cutting down, because I know there's people that import. I know one client that has about 350 staff that they pay every month. So if you have to ban, then what happens to all these workers?
What do you say when people, before I come back to Michael Bernard, what do you say when people say, look, you are always going to defend this because that's where you do business, and so no matter how we conceiving the positive more than the negative, you are going to defend this? What do you say?
No, it's completely wrong. We are not. See, if we had a situation that we also have to export, because mind you, our business is not just about import. We also do import, we do export as well. We export for others as well. So imagine you have a situation where we have to export
enough to eat and being export. It still comes back to you.
It still comes back to us. Right. You see, it's neither here nor there. Right. But the thing is that, like we're saying, the world has become a global village. Okay, where we interdepend on each other. Okay, we have China that consumes a lot of poultry. Okay, so sometimes now we are looking at where we are now, even as a world, where we have shortage of food. Okay, so if you have to place this kind of restriction, okay, somebody will say, okay, now we are not going to export to Africa anyway. We are not going to even export to Ghana. Then what happens?
There's a lot of frustration in the system, even with how you go through the things in the port, not even with the freight forwarders. Politicians coming, the top people coming, order from above comes in, but you're still in the business. It must be very lucrative.
I don't think we're in the business because it is necessarily lucrative. I mean, if nobody was stealing from us, then it would be exactly lucrative. And even with that, like I said, for a businessman, when you put your money somewhere, you want to at least break even
or make profit.
Or make profit. And so the idea of making profit is really so much of being a lucrative business. That's why we keep on complaining that, look, these kind of underhand dealings that happens at the port where people take people's cargo and sell them for cheap should not really be the order of the day if we want to do the thing in the interest of Ghana. I can tell you that I know members that have taken ill to stroke because of the shock they had from their cargo being confiscated and all of that. It really has some very negative impact on our economy as citizens, and it's not that it is lucrative. That is why people continue to do the business. If you don't do the business, you would go hungry anyways. So you need to do it.
I see. So the underhand dealings, it falls back to you.
Yeah.
I don't know how we manage this, and you see, for all of you are all afraid to mention it, especially on air. How do we then bring it to the fore that people could see? Maybe some investigation? Should ANAS come there?
Okay.
Because it's affecting their business.
Yeah.
It's affecting yours as well.
Yes.
I'm too sure when you promise him that I'll take care of these containers, and then you go and there are these underhand dealings. Yeah. You are affected. Your business, nobody trusts you. You cannot do the job.
Yes, I mean, we affected. I mean, I would say even that was in last year, December. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of the reefer boxes that were confiscated. I mean, were taken by the state because they say that after a particular number of days, automatically it goes to state warehouse. That is, government takes over. Okay, so the thing is, there are a whole lot of factors that come into play when you have to clear these boxes, okay, from the port. And so sometimes when they give you, I know the reason why they put those measures in place was, one, I know it is to curtail, I mean, a situation where we have congestion in the port. But we had those issue of congestion when MPS didn't come into play. Mm-hmm. Then it was just GAPO, it was just Ghana Port and Harbour Authority. But now we have MPS that, I mean, had huge space. And, I mean, the place is almost becoming like a transit corridor. So we have huge space. So I think that we have to look at the issue of the number of days here. Mm-hmm. Because it is hugely capital intensive.
How many days would you need to clear a container?
Yeah, I mean,
before you are charged for with some penalties.
Okay, on the average, you don't need much. Within a matter of a week, you don't. I mean, if somebody
with the so what's the structure? So to say when you bring a container, come clear it within how many days?
That's what I'm saying that. It depends. Okay, so the shipping lines, what they do is that they give you some number of free days. Sometimes they give you 5 days within which to clear the box. If you don't clear that, you incur what they call demurrage. That's the kind of penalty. Mm-hmm. Others will also give you 14 days depending on the number of boxes involved. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's no clear. The thing is that if you clear it as fast as possible, it inures your own benefit because you avoid all those extra overheads. So it's in everybody.
What's the 14-day rule that I get to hear that if you don't clear, they might seize your containers? Is that true?
No, it's not 14. It's after 21 days.
It's 21 days.
After 21 days, it goes to UCL. That is uncleared cargo list. Mm-hmm. It means that list, it goes to a list of cargo that has not been cleared. 21 days. But what I was saying is that it's not really feasible because the whole lot of things that come into play. One, it is hugely capital intensive. So a situation where, let's say you have about 10 boxes, you need to raise capital, raise money to pay for the duties. Now, when we're talking about benchmark issue, when the benchmark was reversed from the 50% to the 70%. Now, on the average, let's say one box of leg quarter that they could pay about, let's say 60,000. Now we are paying close to 100,000. Okay, so it's sort of almost like doubled. Okay, and so when it comes, you need money to clear this. And the thing is that these importers, they turn around their money. Okay, I bring containers, I sell the same money I used to pay. Okay, but sometimes they sell on credit, and when these people too have to sell, when those who also come to buy also buy on credit, thinking that they will sell and bring back the money, but sometimes it doesn't go as planned.
I see.
And so they don't have immediately money to pay. Sometimes they have to also pay their suppliers before they get a release to clear this cargo. So when you say within 21 days, if you don't come and clear, I'm taking over.
I see.
And
let's pick this call and come back, and I'll come back to Michael. Johnny is calling us from Tema. Johnny. Hello, Johnny.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning. You're on air.
Yes, just a quick contribution. Firstly, I would like to say Michael and Nita are doing very good in terms of the topic being discussed. My contribution basically is on the issue of the port, where we have some people come through as being sent from wherever and picking frozen cargo. I mean, this is something that has to be looked at and critically. You have people coming all over with some fictitious documentation called chits or whatever they call them, and they're picking containers out without the notice of importers. You have importers who have actually paid duties on their cargo, and when they are ready, they go to the port and the cargo cannot be found.
How?
And I'm surprised at what yes. I'm telling you.
No, I bet,
Sorry.
Johnny, the shipping line should be able to answer for that. Oh?
It's not the shipping line. The shipping lines are in the port. They have no idea what's going on in the port. These cargo are basically taken to the state warehouse or under the state warehouse region. And that is where the issue is. So basically, the officer in charge of the state warehouse should be able to look at this and say, look, whether this documentation is indeed correct or not. And I don't think these people should even be tolerated. They should not even be looked at, because the point that there's a system that customs has built, and everybody's supposed to go through that system. Somebody comes brandishing a paper and then or brandishing an ID, and it's allowed into that space, and they are picking containers left, right, center. I think this thing is something that we don't forget that it's not just about frozen cargo, but it's cargo all through. I mean, you have business people or even school people who have just gone out of university, gone to the bank to get some loans. They pay about 60% of the cargo. They come to town and then trying to sell the rest of the 40% before they realize the cargo is taken out.
Johnny is clear. So I'll come back to say thank you very much for that as well. So I hear State House. Am I hearing clear? What's the State House?
It's the state's warehouse. It's the
Which state?
The state's Ghana, our warehouse. So
what's happening there? What happens there?
So when you bring your cargo and then they need to move it, the state takes control over it. The state moves it to the state's warehousing.
To do what?
That's where it's kept, because then the idea that you have overstayed your time at the
so
terminal.
It's after the 21 days. Is that what I'm getting?
Okay, so the state warehouse, it is just okay. So the queue is taken from the dry cargo. You see, the thing is that, like, when we import, we have a place that we keep the things till the owners come to clear them.
Not the shipping line.
It's not the shipping line. It's the owner. I mean, who has to come forward by paying processing the necessary document and then
take it from there.
And taking from there.
Okay.
So when after a particular time, you don't come and pick it, they try to put it somewhere else.
Decongest.
Okay, just to try to decongest the space so that they can take.
Okay,
yeah.
but you are aware, you the importer, you are aware that your container is there at the state house.
Okay, so what happens is that we have places that we keep this reefer boxes because it is plugged. These are reefer boxes. They have to be plugged because it's meat. If you don't plug it, it can go bad.
Okay.
So we have places that they keep this even for the normal clearance.
Yeah. So I just want to know. I understand.
So after
the importer is aware. That my container has gotten there. I've not been able to clear it. Finally, it has gotten to the state warehouse.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that it is not like it is moved from there to another place.
No,
that's why it will still be there.
It will still
but in the system, it will be designated as going to state warehouse or UCL.
So what is Johnny talking about? That at some point people come to take it away.
Yes. So if it goes to UCL or if it goes to the state warehouse, now what happens is that it's like the government has taken over. We had a situation. The government has taken over. We had even also issue with the cars as well. So when government takes over, what happens is that 70% is allocated to Flagstaff House and 30% go to customs, Ghana Customs. So
wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah.
So the 70% to Flagstaff House for what? For them to eat?
Because now the state has taken over. Yes. So the state has taken over. Okay. So what happens?
So the state is not interested in any further cost so that they could leave those containers.
Okay, yes. So the thing, Because
where
no,
the
if the
auctioning
thing is
starts.
that if I incur costs, supposing I'm supposed to clear, let's say within 21 days, and I don't come to clear for whatever reason, so I'm saying that no one will deliberately leave their boxes there and then incur all those costs, because every businessman wants to cut down costs and maximize profit. But due to I mean certain cogent reasons like assessing money to pay for all.
Yeah, I get that. You see, the reason why I'm asking what does Flagstaff House and Custom do with it is that, let's say today, it's over there at the state warehouse. My taxes is being used to pay because it's plugged just as you to keep it alive, so to speak, so that it doesn't go bad. Now, if the importer does not go over there, the idea is that the state warehouse is confiscating it because you have not been able to come. Then that's what. So it's sold. The money is put back in the coffers, or it's eaten by people at the Flagstaff House.
Okay, so that is supposed to be the case, that it is sold and the money is put into government's chest. Okay. But the thing is that
supposed to be sold
because the thing
auction.
is we have to look at it. It's being auctioned. So the thing is that
Is the auction done in the clear view of people?
No, you see.
So these are the underhand.
Yeah. So what happens is that
they
issue a cheat. Okay, they issue a cheat, and then when they issue the cheat, within 14 days you are supposed to go clear it. Now after 14 days, if you don't go to clear it, the same cargo is given to somebody else. Okay, so what happens is that these people are not importers, they are not dealers in frozen, they are business people, so they end up in the hands of private individuals. So they try to get people to buy it, and sometimes a container that you buy it at say about $40,000, you come to pay. There are some that you haven't paid duty on it, and then they issue cheat to other people, and sometimes they sell as low as 20,000 Ghana cedis, sometimes 10,000 Ghana cedis. Okay. Yes. So after 14 days, if you don't clear, they give it to somebody. If after 14, the person also like is given to. We had a situation in December where about 2 people came together, also holding cheat for the same container, claiming ownership of it, and they even have to pull a gun on it. And somebody was starting to shoot the other. You understand? So these are all frustrating issues, and at the end of the day, I had a situation where my client lost about 5 containers because we couldn't clear on time.
I see. So I'm not too sure we can do it. So quickly, some few seconds, then we can wrap up, because with that underhand dealings, you guys cannot even speak to it. Maybe we would have to send Anas there to
So for us at the Frozen Foods, what I would want to say is that on this particular subject, first of all, we would want to really show appreciation to the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, especially the Tema District, the chairman of the Tema District, Mr. John Mante. We've sent a lot of memos in respect to this particular matter to him, and we've seen him and his team work to find some solutions to us, and together with all the freight forwarders there at Tema, like himself, Johnny, and co, we really appreciate their efforts, and we're hoping that some way, somehow, we'll be able to see some conclusion to this matter. Now to the issue that brought us here, the ban of importation.
I think we've spoken about that.
Okay, I thought you said you wanted our last.
So look, of course, we've gotten that. Do come by. Let's come by again. Let's have this conversation more. Let's have a part 2 of it, because I'm interested in that underhand dealing and how we can save these businesses of these people, and of course, so that you can stay in business. Bernard Nature, PR member, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders PR team. Michael Obri, AJ, executive member and spokesperson, Exim Frozen Foods Association Ghana. I pray that all of these things are uncovered, especially the rots sometimes are uncovered, because you see, it sells us in a bad light for people who are outside and think Ghana is a safe haven to do business, and they come and these things, these machinations, I think we need to uncover them so that people's name, government, Jubilee House, customs are saved. If there are people under doing this job, one day they should be brought out so that we all will see. Next up is connecting with Prophet Emmanuel J. Let's talk about the impact of family altars on marriage. Stay with us. Samira.